Hello, everybody. I hope you can all hear us. All good. Good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are. So, just a chat log stream. It's me, Amanda James, and Shin. This evening or afternoon. But I don't know whether you guys have noticed or sort of become aware that we're coming very close to Lormas time. It's that special time of the year. Would you believe? I think it's like, what are we on now, 13th? It's only a few days away, aren't we?
Oh wow, that's why I feel a little tingly. I couldn't
Yeah.
figure it out. Yeah.
There's some strange coincidences that happen in my life. Like, I don't know. I'll tell you anyway. But like, I got with this really beautiful girl, right? And I woke up in the morning, and it was Christmas. It was Christmas morning. It was Lormas morning. But this was a few years ago. And it was I'd been out of luck for a while, and I was like, wow, what a fucking strange. And it was a strange occurrence because I met this girl as a consequence of kind of it. I wouldn't have met her if it wasn't for the whole lawn scenario. It was because I met her when I used to go and visit Adam in Barcelona. That's how. And it was just a bit of a strange thing. I was like, hang on a minute, what a fucking strange occurrence that was.
It's Lorne magic.
Yeah, but what was funny about that is Lorne's never been laid. Do you know what I mean? It was just kind of funny. It's like, cheers, Lorne. Nice one, pal. Do you know what I mean? That wasn't last time I got laid, by the way, just in case anybody... Right, nobody needs to fucking hear this. I do apologise.
Unless you were telling us about a nightmare where you woke up with who you thought was a beautiful woman and she turned and it was Lauren. That would have been good.
To be fair, it would have been good. I wouldn't have like enjoyed the physical act, but just waking up next to Lauren would be some kind of
nothing
bizarre...
happened, but exactly. And let's have coffee together. I'll put some water in yours. Don't worry about it.
Do you have nightmares about that, Amanda James? About that kind of scenario? Because we're having a laugh and joke about it.
No, I was just thinking I've never had a dream about Lauren ever. Thank God.
But waking up next to him would be a nightmare, I hope.
Or a comedy.
Oh my God, of course. I'd be terrified. My first thought would be, how did I get here?
Where am I? And if you're at home, how the hell did he get here?
Yeah, so it would definitely be a nightmare to wake up next to a sex offender. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, he hasn't haunted me like that. I don't have nightmares, or he doesn't invade my dreams or anything. Luckily.
I have had a Lorne-related dream. I should have wrote it down. I can't remember what happened. I think it was around the time I went to when me and you hung out for the court case. I can't remember what happened. It was some bizarre thing. I think it was some kind of a comedy type dream. I can't fucking remember. In fact, I'll tell you what, right? Because everybody who's in the chat now, and then most people who come here for these streams are hardened Lorne enthusiasts. So, just quickly in the chat, please raise your hand if you've had some kind of Lorne-related dream. Now, there's no judgment here, right? We're all fucking a bunch of weirdos. We all either admit it to ourselves or we're as deluded as he is. So, there's no shame. So, if anybody has had some kind of Lorne-related dream, please step forward and then we can bask in each other's sadness.
Well, a lot of people go to sleep listening to Lorne calls, so it wouldn't be... That's very true.
Listening to this stuff, listening to me, I've never been able to get my head around that. Fucking strange.
It is strange. And now that I think of it, it's strange. I've done it.
No, but think about this, Amanda James. People do that listening to you now.
That is strange, definitely. But I used to listen to your streams before I joined them to go to sleep. Now I don't because I'm on them, of course.
Yeah, well, the Cornville Nightmare is appropriately titled. I don't know if they've just changed the fucking screen name because of what we're talking about, but they said the only time they've dreamt about Lorne was when they fell asleep listening to Lorne. Somebody else has mentioned that as well. Somebody's raised their hand to say they have. So there's all kinds of... Yeah.
This sucks. Why can't I have a Lorne dream? This sucks.
I reckon you have, dude, but you just don't know.
I want one.
You've definitely had one, dude. Your brain is high functioning, and you know you've got loads of yellow legal pads of lawn
It
stuff.
immediately
I
gets rid of the.
refuse to believe that he hasn't corrupted your dreams at some point.
I think my brain is just really good at scrubbing out the most stupid things in the world I dreamed about right away.
That's very good. That's really good. I think we mentioned this before, as we often do, but I mean, from a personal point of view, despite all the intriguing conversations that we have and all the different topics that we cover, I like these streams probably the best. Because of the chat log. Like it never. I mean, we've never gone into such a deep dive. I think this is like, you know, there's three of us here, and we try and. I mean, people have got their take on this thing. People approach it from different angles. There was what Bay Sherman did, just the chat log readings. Nathaniel used to pick out certain bits and talk about them. But I really like these. It's kind of, we're still for some reason intrigued in his character, even though we have as much information as we could possibly ever hope for or want or need. But I still like this going into the chat log. It's what Tiffany always said when she used to join in on these. She don't really like these very much, but is that it's lawn in the wild. Like, there's always a little bit of reservation when it comes to the catfishing. The earlier stuff, not so much, like, you know, with Ramona, but the later stuff, he kind of, you know, he's a little bit reserved. But this is 100% lawn in the wild before he could even conceive that he was getting, you know, he thought at this point he was one step ahead. But, you know, all this deleted archives and, you know, let's show Mr. Yahoo Police that we're breaking up and all that nonsense.
Have we gotten to that yet? No, we haven't. Have we?
I don't know.
Is counter counter, what do you call it? Security measures. I don't think we've done other than deleted archives. That's it.
How long have we been doing these? I mean, this is the 36th video. Oh my god! What am I doing with my life? Fucking Jesus.
We're not even out of September, bro.
I know.
We're still in September.
Fucking hell.
But I agree with you, Andrew. You know, the chat log is, as much as it's the foundation for all of this, it's easily forgotten as, I think, the most fascinating part of it. You know, I think that, you know, as Tiffany says, this is Lorne in the Wild. This is before he had any cynicism at all. This is when he was just cut loose and carefree and really exposed who he was. And I think that also the new stuff is, and this is funny too, but the new stuff is so funny and also so enraging that we tend to forget about all this, you know.
Yes, of course we do.
Really
we forget what he was famous for, don't we?
Yeah, and who he is, actually, not so much. You know, these words are very, very revealing, and the interesting thing is we get to use it as points of references when the catfish talk to him now, and we get to learn more about his life. And this is how we found out about MySpace Girl and his previous victims, and so everything kind of starts from here, and then the catfish kind of build it out, which is great. But this is raw. This is you know, I like this.
Amanda James, do you remember when you first laid eyes on the chat log? I assume you first became aware of him through YouTube, as most people, and I think it might have been myself as well, but it was kind of like a Kennedy moment where I remember where I was when I first read the chat log. Yeah, I remember exactly where I was like looking at it going, fucking hell, this is amazing. Do you remember when you first laid eyes on it? Apart from the segment on the show, of course.
No, I found the phone calls before I found the chat log. So I never paid too much attention to the chat log. I knew sort of the standout quotes like Mr. Penis and Miss Vagina. And I think I listened to some people read it here and there, read parts of it. But I never started actually reading it or looking closely at it until I started streaming with you.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Me too, Andrew. Same thing. First thing we ever did was legal analysis of the chat log. That was
Yes.
the first thing we did about 4 or 5
Yes.
years ago. So,
Yeah,
so I
that
had
was
to read
really
it.
good.
Yeah, I had to read it, and then what we did is we just went through the exercise of picking out all the potential crimes he could have been hit with.
Yes.
And reading it, you know, in that situation was, you know, obviously really eye opening. I was trying to take legal notes at the same time, and thinking, you know, finally I just put my pencil down and said, "Now this guy's going away for life. That's it. He's done." The attempted kidnapping, you know, all this attempted rape.
Yeah. No, it will. I don't think it will ever get dull to me. This document. It's a little bit like, you know, certain albums that I listen to. Like you can wane a little bit in your interest of them. Like there's certain songs that like I listen to and I get a shiver down my spine sometimes, and you can't really explain what happens to you. Like the emotions that you have when you listen to music, it can't really be explained by science. I'm probably going a bit too far, but there's moments like that. There's certain songs and albums that will always invoke that kind of mystic sort of feelings and whatnot and moments. And it's the same with this, not quite on that level. I suppose what I'm trying to say is there will always be that kind of sacred interest that I have, because it's exactly what I'm interested. I'm interested in people and the darkness that resides in all of us. And sort of people's psychological baggage, why we are who we are, you know, the human soul. What is it all about? Why do we make crazy decisions? Why are people bad? You know, what is good? What is bad? You know, is it all a point of view? Is it, you know, it's endlessly fascinating to me. And this encompasses that so magnificently, but also you have the element of kind of humor, the sort of twisted irony that it's on his birthday, everything that
I keep
comes
forgetting
together.
that.
Exactly. There's so many elements to the Lorne story. There's a reason why we're all obsessed with him. Yes, we fucking need to get a life. But we all have that stupid thing in our life. Well, not all of us, but a lot of people have that silly thing in our life that we kind of go to every now and again. And this is very interesting to me, and we still fish for information about Lorne. Like, who's that? You know, we were trying to figure out exactly who all the women in his life were. Did he sleep? You know, who's Mikey's mom? It's like archaeologists going back with that same level of passion that they have for whatever field that they're in. And it's
brushing
like,
off rocks and shit.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I can't, you know, I try and explain it as best I can, but there'll always be a bit of mystery there.
The other thing that is actually terrifying to me when I read this is the idea that he is totally free here. There's no probation looking over him. There's no restrictions on who he speaks to. He is a free man like all of us here. And this is what he does with his freedom.
Yeah, not a registered sex offender, because most of the material that we've got of him, I mean, when I say most, the catfishing material is hundreds and hundreds of, well, it's hundreds of hours, isn't it, if you piece it all together. So he's already in that world, isn't it? At this point, even though he's already stepped into it, he didn't think he'd ever get caught. He's already committed offences even before this chat log started with the Molly situation and all that.
For years.
Yeah.
For years.
And Christ knows what else.
Right. And here we are, still on the in September.
Yeah, not even a third of the way through, I don't think. And we're on video 30. Oh, it's... I don't know whether to applaud myself or just send myself right to the doctors and say, "Doctor, please, do you know how many videos I've made about this guy? And how much money have you made, Mr. Burkett? 0. I'll get a straight jacket for you straight away." Yeah. So, oh my God, you're so fucking... I'd fucking love to know, like, when he says here, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful," like... Is he like, does he genuinely mean that at that time? He's got the photographs there. But what's really interesting when you listen to the catfishing he falls in love with the idea of having someone there. So I'm kind of wondering how much attention he pays to the physical aspect of Kayla. I mean, we know he's examined the photographs and, oh, sexy thing by the pool, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's interesting to me because with the catfish, I was listening to some more of the Jamie calls the other day, as I often do, and it's amazing how he just easily seems to convince himself he's in love with these characters. It's fucking bizarre.
Yeah. I would be interested to know if he really meant that too, because he says that to everyone. He told Casey, the newest Casey, over and over how attracted he is to her. He's never been so attracted to a woman as he is to her. And then he sent Jamie a picture during the throuple. He was mad at Casey, and he sent Jamie a picture of Casey, of the real Casey Morrow, and said, look at her without makeup. That's who you're marrying. Look what she looks like, and was criticizing her looks. Because Casey, real Casey, apparently, she likes to spend a lot of time in the sun. She's very thin. She has low body weight. Like she's got lines on her face. And Lorne was pointing those out to Jamie, calling her unattractive, which is so fucked up coming from Lorne, of all people. His face is literally melting off. He should be kissing the ground that any woman walks on who gives him the time of day. But you see his true feelings when he gets mad. And the same, he fell in love with Nikki and gave her all that money and obsessed over her. And then when she rejected him, now he talks about how unattractive she was and how he normally wouldn't go for a woman like that. He said something about Molly, about the way she looked. There was a call. He was reading the chat log with Winnie, and the subject, Molly, came up at one part. And Winnie said, oh, you had a girlfriend. You had another girlfriend online? And he said, oh, yeah, but it was just for a month or so. And Winnie said, well, how old was she? And Lauren said, oh, she was 18 or 19, something like that. And Winnie was intentionally acting really non-judgmental because she wanted to get Lauren's true reaction about the chat log, I'm sure. And she said, oh, she must have been real pretty. And or maybe in the chat log, Kayla had noticed the pictures of Molly and said she's real pretty or something. And Lauren said, I didn't think she was pretty.
Wow.
And
that's him trying to curry favor with her. But at the same time, he's got this element of malevolence. We talked about this before, where if he is on his way out or the relationship's on its way out, he's going to do what he can to inflict pain. And as he said in his own words, I'm going to cause, I just wanted her to hurt as much as I hurt right now. And that is pure evil right there. And it makes me think, I have a theory about the Bunky toy story, the way he is. I think that what happened was, I think Lorne ended up breaking his toy or something. And then he was crying and carrying on, and his father came over and Barbara came over. And the only way he could have been pacified is he demanded that his father break Bunky's toy too. That's what the kind of guy he is. That's the kind of person he is, and that's the kind of person he turned out to be. So this toy thing where he's playing with, he could be one of those guys who say, you know what, I'm fucked up, now fuck up his shit for me. He's just a horrible human being on that end, Amanda, and I think that's what it comes down to. You know, it's not even to spare his own feelings or defeat his narcissism. He just wants to inflict pain.
Well, it makes him look even worse. He's saying he attempted to molest a little girl and he didn't even think she was pretty. He's just so enticed by the thought of a teenage. It doesn't even make sense.
That it's no, he's passing judgment on what she looks like. No, because obviously
no,
Casey...
he said no. With Molly, maybe with Casey. With Molly, he said.
Sorry. I was reading the comments.
Yeah,
right.
He said, I didn't think so.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's not nice because that even. I mean, I'm not trying to say that this kind of justifies it, but if there was no attraction there, what on earth was he doing? Was he doing it
Right.
just because it was a female, just because he had someone to play with? Forget, I mean, that is a gross way of putting it, but it may be accurate. Maybe it needs a little bit of that kind of, those kind of connotations. Yeah, it does. It is disturbing that, but it's exactly what people like Lorne do. These kind of these depraved. I think depraved is a very good way of explaining what Lorne is, because he is in so many ways. He's depraved of real friends, depraved of real love, depraved of real life experience.
I don't think he expects. The more God, we've become experts on this guy. I think our theories are pretty well founded with a lot of information we have already. But I think that he really sustains himself with these catfish relationships. I think he's fine with it. We've talked about this before.
What do you mean he's fine with it?
I don't think he would. I think he would be very nervous. I think he would be very anxious. I hate to use that word, but if somebody came to visit him, because he knows he doesn't measure up. He knows he doesn't. But in this little catfish world, McNuggets put it perfectly. She said something. She called it girlfriend ASMR. That's what he needs. That's what this is. I don't think there's a chance in the world, aside from all of the other problems he has physiologically with, maybe ED or things like that. He knows that relationship wouldn't last a New York minute if she walked through that door.
No, but
I think there's part of him that knows that.
Do you think he's consciously aware of that?
Yeah. I think if anything, the only reason why he would want them there presently is to disprove his stupidity to all of the people around him, telling him he's stupid. That's the only.
I'm not sure I agree. Lorne doesn't understand that he can't cope with a real woman in his life. He's not that. It's a little bit like when you're a kid and you want a girlfriend and you get one and you go, fucking hell, this isn't all it's cracked up.
Oh, I didn't say he thought it out. I didn't say that. He's.
Oh, sorry, apologies. I didn't.
No.
Sorry.
But it needs clarification. You're right. What I meant was, I think when the moment happens, when he thinks somebody's coming over, I think he starts to get that feeling of dread. And that's when it happens. When he even went to pick up Casey at the airport, 3 hours away, bringing a frozen pizza. Did you know that, Andrew? He brought a frozen pizza. She wanted to bring a pizza, so we got a frozen pizza. I thought that's hilarious.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
The ATC call or whatever it is with Tiffany running around the airport, all that kind of stuff. It's almost like he's relieved they're not there at the end of it. And I think that as an animal that he is, he just has these base feelings and instincts that he doesn't want to go there again. And he's fine. He's fine with her. What relationship could you actually say to yourself, you know what? I can't wait to meet you in 3 months. 3 months? Are you kidding me? If I like you that much, I'm not going to wait 3 months, and that's going to be hell for me. But not him.
Well, he's got a ton of improvements he's going to make in those 3 months, but to his home and his life in general, his financial situation and his body.
Right.
He's very unrealistic about that. When he started dating Casey or talking to Casey, and he went out and bought all those ridiculous clothes to date her.
I love those.
He had these stupid plans. He was talking about like losing weight. He walked on the treadmill for 30 minutes one night. So he started doing all these self-improvement.
So driven,
projects.
Isn't he? He's so driven.
Well, at one point he tried to whiten his teeth while he was smoking and drinking.
I didn't know that.
Nothing but coffee. Well, the best part about it, Shin, he sent Casey a picture of him whitening his teeth, and he doesn't understand how it works. So he didn't buy like the peroxide gel, the actual bleaching gel that bleaches your teeth, the active ingredient. He just bought an LED light. It's like a little mouth tray with an LED light in it. So he just put that in his mouth for however many minutes. That doesn't do anything.
With no formula on his teeth.
Right, with no gel, no whitening agent. And he's like, well, I don't know why that shit ain't fucking working. And not to mention, he was, even if he was using like the teeth whitening gel, that doesn't change the fact that one of his teeth is the size of a Cheez-It,
Right.
and
Right.
completely
Never heard that
mismatched
before.
from the other one. But after you whiten your teeth, they're like, that's when they're most susceptible to staining. So if you whiten your teeth and then you immediately smoke and drink tons of coffee, it's going to cancel anything out. He doesn't understand, and he didn't bother to do any
No,
research
no.
on the subject. So, and he wanted to get out of it as cheaply as possible. So he didn't buy the entire kit from Walmart.
And make himself presentable for Casey. That's
Yes.
important.
He
And
would
somehow,
play. I mean, you saw
well,
those pictures, right?
yeah,
You saw the
yeah,
pictures of him all dressed up. This is a grown man playing dress up in front of
you
his
know.
bathroom
Who
mirror,
took those?
taking pictures of himself.
Who took those pictures though? Did you notice that they had to have been taken by someone? Did he ask the
Yeah,
clerk? Did he ask
yeah,
the clerk? I mean,
he
I wonder
did.
if Blue
Yeah.
Boy knows this.
No, he did. He absolutely did. He asked
Hey,
a
can you take a
woman in the
picture of this one?
store. Well, he asked him to help. He asked her to help him pick out the clothes in the first place, I believe. I know he asked her to help him pick out some shoes, but yeah, he couldn't just shop by himself like an
No.
adult, buy his clothes and fucking leave. He had to have the lady there hold his hand while he laughed at everything and, oh, it's for my girlfriend. I'm going to see my girlfriend. I want to look good for my girlfriend.
Maybe
And then he had her take pictures of him all dressed up in his fancy clothes and sent to Casey.
that's hilarious.
That
Well,
airport thing is fucking.
one more
Oh.
is more evident. You know, the reason why I started thinking more and more that this is just ASMR for Lauren. That's all he wants. Is when he started talking about his itinerary with Blue Boy. You know that he's got absolutely nothing thought out. He never has.
So, just a bit of clarity, dude. Right? Are you saying that you think that that is all he's good for, or that is what he'd be happy with? I'm a little bit confused.
Well, no, with the exception of presenting a real person to his family, his probation officer, Roy, whoever else. And then if she goes away, he'll be after that. Say she was only there for like a half hour to meet all these people, you know, he'd be so happy. And then she left, and then he'd have a relationship with her for a decade on the phone. That's what I believe.
Yeah,
I agree with
Lorne
that.
wouldn't be able to function in a relationship because he's been on his own so long, and he is kind of, I was going to say, an independent guy. He's not independent in the fact that he's well adjusted. He can't function very well, but he's his own person in his own way. If that makes any sense, he's kind of. Basically, he's very good at fucking up his own life, and that's the way he kind of wants it. He wouldn't be able to function, you know, because in order to have a successful relationship, there's a lot of compromise, there's a lot of patience that's needed, a lot of sacrifice. He's not capable of those things, and that's why people end up in toxic relationships, because they're just not in that place. I mean, some of it is because, you know, personalities and whatnot, but if you mature, you just fucking walk away, you know. So most of the time, toxic relationships are for that reason, and he'd be exactly like that. And thank God that is kind of where it's at, you know. But it would be an interesting experiment, you know. We would,
well,
you know.
I got another theory too. I mean, God, we haven't streamed so long. I've developed a few of them. I believe that he. And what do you guys think about this? I think he's more interested in having other guys be jealous of what he has rather than actually have a relationship. In other words, that explains why he thinks he's not interested in somebody his own age, somebody's not as attractive or equally as unattractive as he is. Get somebody a supermodel. His big thing is to walk into Walmart hand in hand with somebody and know that every guy is going, what the fuck? You know, that's what they're saying, but he's thinking, whoa, that guy's lucky. But I believe that his main motivation in life is to stick it to guys. And I've said this before in many, many other ways, but that's why he wants the hot girl. That's why he wants the arm candy. That's his main motivation.
Well,
That's just a theory. Just a theory.
He deserves to date someone better than him. Don't you know?
Yeah. You know, do you remember?
I don't know. Winnie kind of flies in the face of that, though, because Winnie was a mess.
Yeah, but she was, again, physically attractive. We're talking about, superficial stuff that he wants.
Yeah,
A guy's not going to talk to Winnie and discover that she's a lunatic. They're only going to see this, apparently Winnie was pretty attractive, right? Otherwise he wouldn't be interested. Remember that story he was talking about when he got back from prison and he was in the bar with Paul and there was a girl there, or Wendy, again, or another Wendy, and they end up taking a cab home or whatever. He made it a point to say in that story, she was beautiful. She was absolutely beautiful. Otherwise, it couldn't be just a woman. It couldn't be somebody, or even just parenthetically mention that she's pretty. He has to make it a point that is what he was attracted to him, and he was attracted to her, and that's the optics he wants out there, and that just made me believe that even more.
I think his idea of beauty changes with whoever is around him.
But it's always beautiful, though. It's like you talk about, like, the difference in the chat. I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, with everyone, I mean, he tells Kayla that she's so beautiful. She is not. I mean, except in the sense, that children are beautiful because they're children, but there's nothing attractive or like womanly about that girl. She's a little girl. Some little girls are more developed than others, and they look older than others, and they can be mistaken for older. That one could not. She looked her age. She looked 12 years old, 11 years old. She looked like a child. Yeah, Kayla. I mean, one of the Kaylas.
One?
I'm thinking of the one with the gap between her teeth. I'm thinking of the one with the pretty little gap between her teeth.
The Ukrainian one.
I know the kind of the kind of skinnier girl did not even develop like hips or anything. She didn't even look.
Yeah.
She barely looked like she was even starting to sort of develop. Like
all knees and elbows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then Winnie was also so beautiful. I mean, remember Winnie talking with that ridiculous voice? She would be talking about something disgusting, vile. She'd be talking about her yeast infection and her hemorrhoids and just the most graphic, disgusting shit designed to gross this man out. And he'd say, "You're so beautiful.
Oh yeah,
you're so beautiful." And then it would go to Debbie, who was presented as a very beautiful person, as an unrealistically beautiful woman. If you know the pictures that Lauren has seen of Debbie, they're the ones that
a sane personality too. A sane personality too.
Yeah, I mean, Clobber had pictures of Debbie on his stream that Lauren caught once. It was, do you guys remember? It's like a blonde girl doing aerobics on.
Is it like the original Barbie, wasn't it, from the 80s?
She looked like a Barbie. Yeah, it was clearly a professional picture of a model, of like a photo shoot kind of thing.
That guy. He really.
The one of her doing aerobics on Lauren's ass.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
He thought that was the real Debbie. He's like, "Oh, she's a beautiful woman. She's a fucking model."
He doesn't seem to have that kind of. I think one of the most baffling things to me, and probably everybody, it's definitely up there, is just like the Jamie Amy photographs. I think that that woman is the most beautiful woman he's ever been sent. From all of the pictures that I've seen of the catfishes, she is like top class model type scenario. Like, stunningly otherworldly beautiful. And you're like, this guy doesn't even flinch. It's like, what is going on in that brain? It staggers me. It really does. It's like, there's some kind of problem there. That isn't normal behavior. That may sound silly, like stupidly obvious, but I'm genuinely talking. There's some kind of real diagnosable medical psychological issue there, which means that he would think it's some kind of narcissistic behavioral order, without a doubt. I don't like saying that word because it gets thrown around too much, but it may be appropriate in this scenario. I know we did the stream about it. We obviously can't come to any conclusions. We are not trained professionals, but we're professionals in our own right, and we well, put it this way, I think we're entitled to our opinion about Lorne. I think that's one thing we can. There's definitely something wrong.
We've been at it long enough,
Yeah.
Mr. C, can I just address Mr. C? Yeah, I think that the chat log is the place where I developed the opinion that he was a virgin for sure. But again, that part where you're pointing out where he wants to stick it in raw for the first time, then put a comment, that certainly was a good indicator. But I think the best indicator in this chat log that he's a virgin is him wanting his penis inside her all night long. That to me is about as self-explanatory as possible. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, if anybody has had sex before, they know that that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And stupid.
Let's not get onto the virgin debate again.
Speak to a lot of
fucking night.
Well, we're gonna keep coming up as we read this chat log. We're gonna keep bringing it
I
up.
mean, there's nothing. You're right. There's nothing wrong with pointing out little bits of evidence as we see it, but that, it's kind of a never-ending. There's no answer to that
origin
question.
Of who he is.
That's the thing. We'll never get the truth. That's why it's such an intriguing question. Is that as humans we don't like uncertainty. We want to know whether something's true or not. We don't like grey areas, and the Lorne Virgin debate is a fucking grey area. We will never know because he's such an unreliable guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know what the truth is himself. He doesn't understand his own emotions, his memories. He's a blatant liar. He's a sociopath. Yeah. We have all these little tales, all these little pieces, and everybody can come up with a conclusion. And people get very passionate about it as well. It's very interesting. When we have conversations about it, it's pretty, we don't fall out over it. But I've heard some people borderline threatening each other. It's fucking crazy.
You better call them.
Kill you. I'll kill all of you, especially you with the jury.
But speaking of truth, Andrew, that's what this document represents too.
What do you mean?
The most truth out of
from him. You mean at this point?
From him, yes.
Yeah. No,
yes.
I agree, and there is a level of sincerity in this because Lorne sees Kayla as his kind of comfort blanket in a way, his emotional crutch, because he's got nothing else, and that's what makes this so intriguing. You've got a guy here who has fallen. He's late 30s. He's jobless. Let's call him jobless for all intents and purposes. He's jobless, moneyless, relatively homeless, friendless. His family have fucked him off. He's got no bed. He's basically fucked. You know what I mean? At this point, he's in a bad situation. And then he's found himself online talking to this.
I know.
He's
only got one thing. He's only got one thing going for him, and that is he owns land. He owns land. That's his. Where would he be if he didn't have that land? How would he present himself? How would he try to lure people? That's the only thing he has. Oh, his dogs. He
didn't own it at that time.
Well,
he didn't own the land at the time of the chat log. He only owns the land because his family gave it to him.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't that wasn't a reality for him at this point. That only came out when he got out of prison.
He did buy a house for $60,000 and sold it for $8,000 though. So don't forget that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there's another truthful Lorne story. Yeah. Let's see if we can actually move a little bit in the chat log, because all we've done is read one line and we're about an hour in. Oh my God, you're so beautiful. I think we might have mentioned this on the last stream when he goes, and Kayla goes, no, I ain't. Because she obviously plays the role of the insecure girl, 13-year-old, bit of unsure of herself. Boys at school don't pay attention to her. Lorne, yes, you are. Pause. To me, you are. That line is very difficult to take. If you think about the implications of that, and let's interpret it this particular way because I think we'll all agree. He's playing on her insecurities to trap her to a 13-year-old girl. Like, dude.
Yeah. He's saying, don't get so full of yourself or anything. Like other people might not find you beautiful. I find you so beautiful though, because I love you so much. Just me. Other people probably won't.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even to say I'm special. I should be special in your life. It's a form of control that he has. It's like, if you want to feel good about yourself, then stay with me. Nobody else is going to say the same things I do or feel the same way I do. It's a backhand.
I think you're beautiful because I love you. That's
Nobody else is going to say that but me.
No, yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
How tall are you right now?
It's grooming. It's grooming.
Yeah, it is. In the purest form. Like 5 something? I don't know. Lol. Why? I was just curious, lol. Oh my god, I'm such a lucky guy to have. What the fuck? I'm such a lucky guy to have you. Do you have any of you in a bikini? Any what? Photographs, I assume. No. Darn. Lol. Anything close to a bikini? Lol. I don't think so. Darn. You need to take a pic of you in your PJs. Lol. For me. And in a bikini. Or your panties and bra. Okay, please. He's pretty persistent, this guy.
What does close to a bikini mean?
Naked?
Amanda?
Good question. There is no item of clothing close to a bikini other than underwear. And that's what he's getting at, I'm sure.
So
take a
he's
picture of
here.
yourself. Yeah, wearing as little clothes as possible. I want to see as much of your body as I can.
Yeah.
This guy should have gone away for at least 30 years. He's soliciting here.
Oh yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. He's in overdrive at this point, isn't he?
Yeah.
And let's see how far he goes with this. Will you, please? So please question mark twice and a lol. Then Kayla all she responds with, which in typical Kayla fashion, lol. Will you please for me? So how many question marks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, that's without the bikini. You know, quite a lot. I'll see, which is very non-committal.
But look at that big smiley face he gives in response. Okay. Jesus Christ. Kiss.
Okay.
There we go. I needed you to do that.
Make sure you're the only one that takes the pics, though. Okay. What do you think Kayla's gonna get her dad? Say, Dad, will you take a picture of me in my underwear for my 37-year-old boyfriend that I met online a couple of weeks ago?
No, man.
Yeah, you can take it while he buys
ahead.
her white thong.
There you go. You take a picture of me in my white thong that you bought me, Daddy. There we go. What kind of a world is he living in?
He probably meant, like, don't have your friend take the picture of you in your bikini or your panties or whatever, because she'll start to wonder why, or that's what I'm
Yeah, it's a security issue, isn't it? You know, and we know when Lorne gets a little bit defensive because the capital letters come out. Make sure you're the only one. It's like that. I don't like this. I mean, obviously, I don't like it. Nobody's going to like it. But it's worth mentioning the kind of this control and this kind of obedience that he demands of her. You know, it's very difficult to take.
Yeah, teaching her the rules to avoid him getting caught.
I would love if Sherry Twist were able to come up with a photograph of 2 adolescent kids on the beach, including a boy, and sent that to her. So that's the only bikini pic I have, and she's with Derek. That would be great.
Yeah.
You imagine the conversation?
Yeah, the 2 families went on holiday together, and there's her and Derek on some beach. You know, they're both eating an ice cream.
Right.
You know, you can just picture it, can't you? That's what we could do with one of our time traveling vouchers. I'm going to introduce a new time traveling voucher. It's one where you can actually interfere with the past rather than just observe it. We could just
That
hand
takes
him a
some thinking.
photograph. There's me and Derek last year when we were still we were very much in love back then.
Oh, what's interesting is Wildo asks a good question. He says, "Do you think this is why she sent the pool pic, even though she was in jeans?" I don't know.
Yeah. I was wondering that actually because that's kind of what I remember being the only one that may be considered, well, not kind of, like graphic or anything, but what he would get most excited about, because he mentions the swimming pool thing quite a bit. I think that's one where she's like
Sexy
jeans on or something.
Sexy little thing in the pool.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, I wish you were here with me right now. Me too. I want to kiss you so bad right now. Lol. God, you're so beautiful and so precious. Oh, fuck off, dude. Ugh. I'm gonna be in heaven. It never ceases to amaze me, this thing. How sweet. Oh, look at the response that she's given there, despite his kind of displaying of emotions,
Which one? How sweet?
Yeah, that's pretty much all he gets back.
Yeah, that
and then a little
made
kiss. I
testicles
love
tingle.
your cute little nose too. What the fuck is he?
That's what
Yeah,
you say to babies.
He also doesn't know how to use your and your, which is a common grammar error, but we'll have a go at Lorne for it as well because he's a fucking prick.
I still hate it.
It's still annoying. Yeah.
I love your cute
He's
little
weird.
nose. It's something you say to a child.
That is true, but he's very strange about things like that. He told Jamie that he loves her ears. She has sexy ears. And when she said, "What?" He said, I think they're pretty. I think they're pretty ears. He's so fucking weird.
As if we need to emphasize that point. Oh, it's great. Do you have any more
Then he refers
pictures?
to his.
Huh?
Sorry. Then when he refers to his own body parts, like his toes, it's sorry. That's all I have.
Ew, yeah.
Do you have any more pics? He's really fishing right now. That's all I got in here right now. Okay. You mean until you take the one of you in your bikini or bra or panties for me? Lol. He just doesn't quit, does he? He's so desperate for these new photographs.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest that maybe it's for his own kind of verification purposes, but I don't think that's it. I think he's just in pervert overdrive mode.
No, he'd probably put it on a burn it on a CD and bring it into Walmart and make a poster of it.
Yeah, and swap it with all his pedo mates online. You dread to think.
That's what he wants. That's what he wants.
I wouldn't put. Do you know what? If someone was going to get caught in these operations now, they could just use AI to make photographs up. You wouldn't need to use real people because they're all like Dateline staffers and stuff, weren't they? What they used to say on the show. I wouldn't put that on here. How would you send it to me? Asks Lorne. How about I just... what's that? How about I just... Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. That's something like, how about I just... Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, she's not committing. Yeah. Lol. We'll figure it out. I'm surprised your parents have yelled at you to go to bed yet. Right, he's not typing properly. They did. Oh, lol. I told them I was going in a minute. Jeez.
Talk about a reminder that he's talking to a child.
Is it your bedtime?
Is he bored of her at this point?
No, I know, but it's not something that he just gets out of his mind and just carries on, over that little bump. It's always there. It's part of the attraction. It's part of what he wants. It's not like, okay, she mentioned it, we don't have to talk about it again. We'll just keep. No, he keeps bringing it up.
Yeah.
No, it was constantly. on his mind. Yeah, there.
He wanted a child.
He couldn't forget if he wanted to. She was incredibly childlike in every way she talked. It's not like she, you know, like I said, was like a more mature 13-year-old and had mature conversations, or she was. Sherry Twist did it well, you know, played a little kid. When he says, "Oh, I was just lost at the time. I lost all sight that she was 13." That is bullshit. It was a constant discussion. How was school today? Where are your parents? Don't let your friends know you're sending pictures. Don't, you know? It was constant.
Have your dad buy you a thong. Andrew?
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, someone decided to call me out on fucking car rental shit. So, where are we up to?
I think you mean until you take the one of you in your bikini or bra and panties for me? Lol.
Oh no, I think we already read that.
Oh my god, you're beautiful to me. I'm so anxious to be. Oh, fuck off. I'm so anxious to be with you. I can't wait to hear your pretty voice again too. I can't wait to hear you sing again.
Oh,
so he's already sang to her at this point.
Oh, that is she's playing with fire now.
It's another stark reminder of her age. He heard that voice and he's so anxious to hear it again. Such a pretty voice.
Yep. Oh, now he's trying to do.
Much of it was like being ironic when she said that, as in like, you know, I've heard you sing. You're a pathetic pedo. You know, it's the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. It's like a bit of irony. I get that impression. It's like just sort of, you know, just kind of egging him on and just kind of trying to get her own pleasure out of it from this guy. That's the kind of impression I get. It's like, I'm going to have you motherfucker, at some point. Because I remember reading what they wrote on the Perverted Justice website. And there was a bit of satisfaction. You could tell. We're going to have to go over that at some point, actually. Is it still on there?
I don't know. There's the like entire unedited Lorne chat log somewhere, and I think it has Sherry Twist commentary included. It might be on the Temple of TCAP.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to find it somewhere. I mean, there's probably thousands of people that have got that. In fact, I've probably done a video about it in the past and forgot. Right, are they going out Friday night? I don't know. Hopefully they will. You still have a lot of time left on your card. Yep. I hope you don't get in trouble for still being up, Precious. I think he's trying to get rid of her. I think he either wants to go to bed or something. Yeah, they'll be yelling, I better go, don't want to get trouble. Okay, want to see my penis before you go.
That's what he wants.
Well, there we go.
There's
the mystery solved.
Exactly. Oh, bedtime, time to see my penis.
Do you think it's, let's see, it's 12:20. Do you think he goes to the karaoke bar this late?
Nah, well, I mean, would karaoke bars still be open at that time?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm assuming all bars close at 1 o'clock, but I don't think he'd have enough time to do that.
Yeah, plus, would he want to go there on his own?
Well, I asked that because, you know, I'm trying to figure out his activities for most of the chat log. Like when he ends it at 11 o'clock, I think there are some times when he says he's going to go to the karaoke bar, but by then I think it's only like 10 or 10:30. But when it's this late, I don't think he has time to go. And plus, he never has money, so. And I'm applying that to the Mikey's mom situation. You know,
yeah,
said two nights before.
Hmm.
and see if it fits the timeline. It's hard to tell with this guy.
Want to see my peanut? Yeah, he's sad right now. He wants you, so I'm trying to make him a little happier for you. Does that mean he can't get an erection again, like you said, Shin? You think he's got
Yeah,
thingy-majig? What's it called? Erectile dysfunction or something?
yeah. He's it's a special moment he wants to share when that happens. It's like every full moon.
Lol. Was that good? Yep. Gonna dream about me and my penis tonight? Lol. I hope the fucking neighbours can't hear me. Yeah. Gonna rub your. I don't even like saying that. Let's just highlight it on screen and you can read it yourselves. Kay, if you want me to, I definitely want you to think about me and my penis.
Let's be clear about this. I definitely want it.
And don't think about anything but me and my penis. Don't think about your math homework. Don't think about Maria and Jesse and what gossip they're up to. Don't think about a red BMW. It's very specific. You have to think about me and my penis while you're doing it. Who needs to give fucking instructions on how to masturbate? I mean, obviously, a groomer who's trying to teach a child who knows nothing about it. But it's redundant to say, oh, make sure you think about me and my penis while you're doing it.
Right. Like this is the image I want you to have in your head while you're doing it, in addition to doing what I'm telling you to do physically.
Yes.
It's like he's controlling every aspect of it, right?
Absolutely. Do what I tell you to do, but also think what I tell you to think.
Yeah, exactly. And make sure that your thoughts are confined to me. That's it. But this kind of like strikes me, I don't know why, but it brings me to the point where he's trying to learn about sex, and his sister's boyfriend taught him about it when he was 17 or something like that. It's almost like he's, and it wasn't about sex and how children were made and reproduction and all that stuff. It was about, what he wanted to know was about, my guess is sexual techniques and mechanics and shit. Like, no, our parents don't teach us that, right? That's what he wanted to learn, right?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if this is kind of like that, where, okay, he was looking for or it's an excuse later on where he says, I was looking for it. So I can imagine why, but he's not that smart. He's not that smart. It's just weird.
I think it's such a funny scene to picture Lorne sitting in the living room and his older sister and her husband are there with a diagram or like an anatomy book or something.
No, they were demonstrating. They were live.
Yeah.
This is the mouth, Lorne. Watch this. Okay. Laura, you okay?
This is a vulva, Lorne. Take notes.
I better
did not take notes.
Smile. Okay, I love you, precious princess. Delete your archives. I love you. Kay, tell me when they're deleted. Done. Fucking hell. He gets frustrated listening to Lorne and his antics.
You can't get off the phone with the fucker, right?
Yeah, just go, you freak. Rose, love you. Night. I love you too. I thought you were saying God damn it then. Good night, my princess. I miss you already. I miss my... Right, okay. So finally the day's over. Excuse me. Sorry about the sniffling. So we're about 8 hours later. And he's getting up in the morning, which...
4:29. No, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. Sorry.
So it suggests... We don't know what he's been up to during that time, but that's probably a decent amount of time for a sleep if he's in on his own. So he's probably not done much else. But he was in a bit of a rush, though. He wanted to get rid of it. He could have just been tired, or that might be it. I miss you already. And then he comes back online. He has to tell her he's leaving for work. So hang on a minute. Would he? I'm leaving for work, my precious. My cam is on for you. I'll talk to you tonight when I get home. So this must be the weekend. Because she would have been in school otherwise. She wouldn't have been up till, that time in the morning, would she?
Well, hold on. I'll find out real quick.
Why the fuck would he leave his cam on for
I
her in his
know.
empty apartment
I
all
don't
day?
get that. Like we've talked about this before, and I think the theory that we came up with is like I think you suggested it, Amanda James, is that it's some form of like intimacy. Like even when he's not there, he likes the idea of her staring at his empty room because it's almost like even when he's not there, he wants her to pay him full attention and stare at his empty room. I wish Lorne was there. I think that's what he's imagining.
Yeah, it's an obsession thing. I think he would stare at someone's camera at their empty home all day, and he wants someone to feel that level of obsession.
Wouldn't it be? It's just occurred to me. You know, like how, you know, like back then, smartphones were just starting to come into the. Well, no, they weren't. Smartphones were like the beginning of the noughties, weren't they? Oh, sorry, like 2010 onwards. So here, you couldn't have like Find My iPhone and FaceTime and all these security issues and WhatsApp. Can you imagine Lorne in this scenario with a girlfriend who they both had iPhones? Because now, do you understand what I mean? With all the like, oh, I'll FaceTime you, or what time were you online last night? Oh, you was last on WhatsApp at such and such a time, and that's one of the problems.
No, you got to remember. Do you remember the Amanda James situation where suddenly her messenger didn't work, so he was actually content to email her for 6 months? I think he could easily be begged off of doing something like that.
Yeah, he's kind of stupid.
He's kind of stupid. By the way, this is a Thursday morning. Thursday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. So
she's not even there. She's at school, but he's gonna leave his cam on. So the minute she gets home from school, she can sit at her computer and stare at his empty apartment.
Of course.
Until he
That's
gets
commitment.
home.
What's he doing keeping her up until this time if he thinks it's not that he is massively concerned for her welfare, of course. It's kind of a bit of a stupid point to bring up, really.
He doesn't care. I'm sure he did the same thing with Molly.
Yeah.
Every time I see his initial message every day, the first thing in the morning, the thought that always comes to my mind is, okay, I was drunk the night before. I'm talking to a minor. I got to cut that shit out. I got sleep on it now. I feel, I feel, a little more centered now. So I'm gonna stop that shit. But no, he picks it right up in the morning when he's refreshed and everything. There's absolutely no hesitation, no apprehension at all that this guy's showing. I mean, not even a tinge of guilt.
There is one bit in the chat log which I hope we get to, which is at least brings up some form of debate, maybe, or as to what there may be some level of. I know what Amanda James is going to say, but we'll talk about it. I think you might know. There's one specific line that Lorne says that might hint at some form of apprehension, at least.
I doubt it, but
no,
I remember.
Well, exactly. It'd be good to. And if we don't get to it in the next few videos, I'll find it and we'll do a whole video.
It's the point of the conversation where he's talking about, are you sure you want to be with somebody, my age,
Yeah,
are you sure you want to?
No.
Yeah, it was something like that, and it's the only point in the chat log which might hint at some form of.
No, I think it could be interpreted that way, but that's not the way you meant it.
Yeah, well, exactly.
No.
That's why it's interesting to discuss.
Yeah.
We won't go into it now, but it's been. I remember Nathaniel doing a video about it years ago, which I found really interesting.
Well, just a quick example. It's like when he said to Jamie, to Casey, to Ramona, to all of them, "Why do you love me? What is it about me that you love so much? What are these people in the Church of God? What are they so obsessed with? I'm just a person." He's fishing for compliments. He's fishing for her to tell him he's special and great and attractive and blah blah blah. That's
certainly. Yeah, that would seem to be the most likely conclusion. But it was worded in such a way which I found quite interesting. Maybe I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll have a look at where it is in the chat log. If it's too far ahead, then what we'll do is we'll just devote one video to it. Maybe during Lawmas, or maybe even on Lawmas Day or something like that, because we'll have to do something a bit different. If we can all get away, of course. I'm not sure we can put a holiday request into our employees and say it's Lawmas Day. Can I have it off, please? Of course you can, Andrew. Yeah, I wouldn't expect you to work on a day like that.
Actually,
yeah.
Amanda, I think he did say in this chat log something similar to what he said to Winnie. He said to her, I think he said to Kayla, God, you don't want to confuse the catfishes and everything else. What did I do right to make you fall in love with me? Something to that extent, where he's fishing for that compliment. So he does it as early as here too.
Yeah, I think he does it with all of them. He just wants to hear how amazing he is. He's asked Emma many times, what do they think is so special about me? I'm just a person. When the celebrities are reaching out with their support for Lauren and they want to do projects with him and stuff during his probation violation period.
Right.
What is it that's so special about me? I'm just a person. I was born like everyone else. When did he say that? That was recent. I just heard that.
I didn't know that. I never heard that.
Lauren said, where the fuck did it come from? It was amazing. Oh, I think it was like an old interview. It was an old interview with Emma. Not interview, but like she was live streaming and Lauren called her and she's like, Lauren, I've got you on a live stream and I've got people here who have questions for you. They're your fans. And they, it was the whole Church of COD thing. They're going on about COD and Lauren's like,
wait a minute. Was that the old podcast?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, Clover played it.
No, yeah, I think
Sundays
Heisenberg's actually the one who used to run those. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
So Lauren said, I was born just like everyone else. Like, right. What other did you hatch from an egg? Nobody implied that you were born any other way. But people were asking him questions like about Brexit and about evolution and it just things that are way over his head just to hear what stupid answer he would give. And somebody asked him, do you believe in evolution? And his answer was, I believe in humans and I believe in God. And Emma's like, okay, you believe in humans and God. Got it. It's really funny. If you guys haven't heard it, he's drunk. He's completely stupid.
Oh, philosophical Lorne while he's drunk being asking questions about the nature of human existence. That what could be better than that? I've got to
so good. He didn't even understand what Brexit was. He thought she said breakfast.
Have you heard that latest call when you had a stroke, Lorne? He's like, never heard of one. He's like, oh, I thought you said throat. It's like, what the fuck? Why would someone ask you if you had a throat?
I laughed so hard at that part. I laughed so hard at that stupid part when Casey said, you don't know what a throat is. And then the robot says, has anyone in your life asked you if you have a throat? It was so funny and stupid. Don't know what one is. Never heard of one.
Such a fucking moron. Oh my god! Oh god!
Right. How would you like to have Andrew? Excuse me, Andrew. How would you like to have Lauren on our on this stream here? And I think he'd take $1,000. Think he'd do it for $1,000?
Would there be any point? I mean, what are you going to get out of him?
Nothing. I mean, I just want to be close to him. That's it.
Well, we all do, but
questions.
I want to leave my closeness to Lorne where it was in the fucking courtroom, watching him get carted away. I'm very happy with that. In handcuffs.
Well, I would ask him about that. Did you see us there? Did you see us there to support you? Whatever. I wouldn't bullshit him. I wouldn't bullshit him. I would basically try to get his take on what he thinks is going on with this whole community, and how he feels about it, and and then try to maybe crack some cases that some issues that we have with him, the virgin question, things like that.
Do you know what's funny? It's just made me realise the only time Lorne has ever seen you, Shin, in his life, and probably ever will, is you there looking swerve in your fucking lawyer suit with your yellow legal pad, like looking like a lawyer, writing shit down. It's just so funny to me. Take some of that, you bastard.
Yeah.
Anyway, confused to fuck. No idea who any of us were. It's so funny.
And the thing is, it wasn't like we weren't so visible because there was no one in the courtroom but us and his mother on the other side.
Mystery guy that we've never been able to figure out who it was.
Yeah, in the corner.
Wasn't there?
Yeah. Yeah,
but
that
weird.
But you got to remember,
he came in the lift with us, didn't he? He's like some really just random geezer with dark hair, pretty skinny.
Maybe it was Nathaniel.
Didn't say a fucking word to us, and it was almost like he was a little bit nervous. Do you remember, dude?
Yeah, he could have been a lurker, who just wanted to go, who happens to live around the area.
Yeah.
But we're talking about probably enough room to sit at least 50 people in those benches. It was just us.
Yeah, I know.
And and that's why the judge kept looking up and looking directly at us when he was talking, giving his speech. People love their 13-year-old daughters.
And it's so interesting what he said and how he summarised Lorne's position. And he did it in such a... I mean, judges are supposed to do this. He did it in such a respectful and precise way. The way that he communicated it, the way that he delivered it was so perfect. And it was totally lost on Lorne. That was the shame of it.
Total waste of effort.
It was said for his benefit because the judge doesn't want him to reoffend. He wants people to behave like rational, law-abiding, productive citizens. And it was all wasted on Lorne. It's such a shame. I'm glad we were there to appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'll say it again. I think probably the biggest thing we took away, that is the hardest I've ever heard Lorne cry.
We were there, dude.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest I've ever fucking laughed in my entire life. It was like, when you get the giggles and it just doesn't stop? Man, that was the giggling fit of all giggling fits. It was just...
yeah.
Yeah.
It was quite the show.
It was brilliant. I'll never forget that.
We were so lucky.
I know. I'm sorry. I hope you don't think we're like just trying to rub it in, guys who are listening. It's just we just kind of...
we want to share it. We want to share these.
It's not like an egotistical thing. Oh, we were there and you weren't. It's just it was just a really fucking great time.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it very vivid for people. Oh, there were tears, Kathy. There were, like I said, there was mucus everywhere.
Well, I don't know if I was crying more than Lorne. My sort of tears of laughter. I'm not sure. It's probably equal footing there. Anyway, right. I've really enjoyed this. It's been good fun because it's been a while. We've done a couple of pages. We've gone from one day into the next. It's been good fun. I really enjoy these. I really do. So
we got to get Tiffany back.
She doesn't like these.
I know, but she already, to her credit, she read this with Lorne too,
and that's why she doesn't like it. I think that's one of the reasons why it gets to her a little bit.
Well, that's even more reason why we need her, I think.
Well, so, all right. Well, I'll let you try and convince her because I'm not. Right. Anyway, thank you very much to my good friends, Mr. Shins Koala and Amanda James. It's an absolute pleasure. I've enjoyed it, and we will be back. At some point during Lormus, we'll definitely try and get something done for Lormus Day. I might be streaming this weekend because I'm going to visit Adam. It's a bit of a trek, but we're planning something hopefully that'll be pretty cool at the weekend. So yeah, hopefully that'll come to fruition. So I'm visiting him up in Scotland. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I think it's been quite a lot of people, and we only put it out there 2 hours before it started. So thanks for coming at such short notice. Anybody that's listening, to this retrospectively, please leave any comments, because I do enjoy reading them just to see people's insight, something that we've said that you think's funny, or if you think we're talking shit, then please say. It's all good. But thank you very much to everybody. I hope you're all well. Please take care of yourselves, and